All right. Hi, boys and girls. This video is going to talk to you about long division. And in order to do that, we're going to do two problems together, but I also want to just show you like the steps of long division, setting up your problem. Because if you set up your problem correctly, it's going to make it that much easier for you to end up arriving at the correct answer. So for this one, I have 973 divided by 4. Of course, I'm looking for my quotient, and I have 973 as my dividend. 4 is my divisor. My quotient is going to go up here on top of the house. So there's a few things we like you to do to get yourself set up. You know, in class, we talked about the steps of division, and I'm going to always write them down here at the side. D, M, S, C, B. D stands for divide. M, multiply. S is subtract. C is check. And B is bring down. And every time I go through these steps, I'm going to check them off. And if I go through these steps each time, it will help me to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a little multiplication sign in the corner. Because one thing kids tend to forget is what numbers they multiply when they get to this multiplication step. And lastly, I'm going to give myself a dash on top of each one of these digits. So these are digits under the house. And when we get to the digits, we need to divide. We divide the digits, and our answer for our division goes on our dash. And that's another thing that kind of helps kids to remember where to place things. Because one of the problems that people have when they first start learning to divide, is knowing where all the numbers go when you arrive at the solutions. So let's walk through this. So the first thing I'm going to do, I start dividing here with the 9. And I'm going to cover everything else up and think to myself, if I have 9 of something, how many groups of 4 can I make? So this is like, I ask myself, how close can I get to 9 without going over? And I know that 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. That's too big. So I just divided. 9 divided by 4 is 2. My answer goes on a dash because I divided. D dash divide. And now I've got that up there. So now I check. I did that. Now I'm going to multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. It goes underneath there because I'm setting myself up for subtraction. Now I'm going to subtract the 2 numbers that I just got when I multiplied. So 9 minus 8 is 1. I subtract it. Now, this step is important, and a lot of kids skip this one. But because I need to make sure that the answer I got when I subtracted is less than my divisor. So I check, is 1 less than 4? Yes, it is. If it wasn't, let's say that I ended up with 5 here. Then that means that all the way back to my division step, I made a mistake. It's kind of like when we talked about in class, your remainder can never be greater than your divisor. The difference you get when you subtract can also never be greater than your divisor. Okay, and now the next step is to bring down, and you're going to bring down the digit one at a time next to the number that you first divided. So now I'm going to bring down the 7, and I have a new number to divide, and the new number I'm dividing is 17. So I like to make a new house, and I'm going to put that 4 right there, and I'm just going to start the process all over again. So now I'm going to go 17. I start back up at the D. 17 divided by 4. So how many groups of 4 can I make out of 17? I can't go over. 17 divided by 4 is going to be 4. I put my answers for my D step on my dash, D dash divide. 4 times 4 is 16. I multiplied. Now I'm going to subtract, and I get 1. Check, is 1 less than 4? It is. And now I'm going to bring down the 3. Now I need to start over again. I'm going to make a new house and put my 4 here. So 13 divided by 4 is going to be 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 13 minus 12 is 1. Check, is 1 less than 4? It is. There's nothing left to bring down, but I am going to bring that 1 up, and it is going to become my remainder 1. So my answer to this problem is 243 remainder 1. But I'm not quite done yet. I need to do a check. So I'm going to check this. And to check, we use the inverse operation. So we are going to multiply. And in this case, we are going to multiply. Well, in every case, you're going to multiply your answer or your quotient times your divisor. So we're going to take 243 and multiply that by 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 1 is 17. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. And now I'm going to add my remainder. And I end up with 973, which is a perfect match for my dividend, which means that I am likely correct. Now, a couple things to remember. Your remainder can never be larger than your divisor, and that remains true with long division. And you also want to know that if your check is not correct, remember you could have a mistake in your check, or it could be in your division. I would start by checking your check just to make sure that that's not it, because you don't want to erase all this work and then have to go back and do that. But you want to start by checking your check and then go back to your division and take it step by step and go through and see where you may have made a mistake. Okay. Let's do one more together, and this is going to be a 4-digit. So since I have 4 digits, I'm also going to write down my steps here. So we like to remember these steps as does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? Or you can make up anything that you would like to help you remember those steps. I have always used does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers, and that works for me. Now I'm going to go give myself my dashes. I'm setting my problem up. Okay. And I'm going to get started. Okay. Let's take a look. If I have 2, how many groups of 3 can I make? That's right. I can't make any groups of 3 there. So I can put a 0 on here on this line, or I can just, or you can skip it and move over and look at 26 then. Some kids like to put a 0 on here and then go through the steps. And I'm going to do it that way just to show you. So then 0 times 3 is, so I divided. 0 times 3 is 0. Subtract and you get 2. I check, is 2 less than 3? It is. There's something to bring down? I bring down the 6, and now I have a new number to divide. So now I'm going to do 26 divided by 3. So how many groups of 3 can I make out of 26? 3 times 8 is 24. That's as close as I'm going to get. So I'm going to put my answer on a dash, D dash divide. 8 times 3 is 24. So I'm going to subtract. 26 minus 24 is 2. Check, is 2 less than 3? It is. Bring down the 5. Now I have a new house. And I'm a new number to divide. So I make a new house. 25 divided by 3, again, is going to be 8. My answer to my division step went on my dash, D dash divide. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract. 25 minus 24 is 1. Check, is 1 less than 3? It is. So I'm going to bring down the 8. And now I'm going to make a new house. 18 divided by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. My number went on a dash. Now I'm going to multiply. 6 times 3 is 18. Now I'm going to subtract. And I'm going to check, is 0 less than 3? Yes, it is. There's nothing left to bring down. And in this case, I don't have a remainder. I wouldn't write remainder 0. I just subtracted and got 0. So that is the end of my problem. So now I'm almost done. I have to check and make sure I'm correct. So off to the side, I'm going to, again, take my quotient. I'm using the inverse operation of multiplication and multiply it by my divisor. And I'm going to hope to get my dividend, which is 2,658. So 6 times 3 is 8. Regroup. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 2 is 26. So I end up with 2,658, which is a match. And so my answer to this problem is 886. Now, what this means is if I had 2,658, let's say, cookies, and I was putting them into bags of 3, dividing them up into bags of 3, I would have 886 bags and there would be nothing left over. So boys and girls, that is how you do long division. The most important thing is that you remember to write these steps down and follow these steps, check them off. The dashes really help. Remember, every time you're on a D step, you write the answer to the D step on a dash, D dash divide. And if you do that, I think you will be successful with this. I know you will be successful with this. So good luck and lots of practice.